Hello, welcome back to another episode of Warhammer videos. I'm not doing any of the face intro or anything this time because I just want to get more content out and focus on the stuff. I'm not working for Redgrass Games, I'm not sponsored by Redgrass Games, but in the last few weeks they did send me their new double-sided, I didn't even realise it was double-sided, but a double-sided cutting mat, which is really cool. So I'm going to be using that as a background in a lot more of my videos. So today we're going to have a look at the new Ultramarines Intercessors from JoyToy. You can probably see off to the side I've got my previous ones, which were the Infiltrators or Intercessors, and then one guy who I was expecting to get a replacement of because they sent me two of him in a box, so I painted him up like a blood angel, which was really easy to do because all the parts just pop off, and I've just realised how much dust he is covered in. The good thing about dust, if anybody hasn't already realised, one of the best things about the Artist Opus brushes is they make absolutely excellent dusters as well. So if you do have any dusty models, just give them a clean up. Anyway, I'm going to have people complaining that the video starts 12 minutes in. So let's crack these things open. They are brand new, sealed in original, sealed and somewhat damaged. I don't know what's going off there in original packaging, but we're going to use that as an entryway into the plastic. So forgive the noises. Here we are. And for many of you who are new to the channel, let me just tell you straight away, I am absolutely in love with these JoyToy models. Unlike the McFarlane models, which I haven't got to hand, but I'll grab one in a second, these JoyToy models are absolutely incredible, mainly because the thing I like about them is the fact that they are a recreation of the original. So let me just go get a McFarlane model for comparison. There we are, look, we'll stick with the blue theme. So, and I'll point out a couple of bits on this, since we've got pretty much the same thing in this box. Right, so we'll pop them out. I'll do it the easy way, tip it up. So, and I think if like last time you do get the, I was hoping that would be the easy way. Right, so, nope, unlike last time, it's not blind boxes, so it looks like they've got rid of, well, whether or not they've gotten rid of the blind box approach completely, or whether this is special packaging inside the collection, I don't know, but there you go. There's no surprises as to who is in what box now. So the previous ones, I don't know if you know, oh, they're all packaged. Oh no, there's one. So the previous boxes came like this. So the idea was they'd sell them in China as blind boxes. You wouldn't know which one you got, and this box, you basically got 4 of these boxes inside the packaging, the larger box, and then you would have one of each figure in that larger box, but they also sold these individually off the shelf, which is a bit weird. Yes, once again, it's 4 models, it's not 5 models, which is annoying. I've mentioned this on the blog. It would make more sense to have just 3 models, I don't know why, but when you've only got 4 models, it feels like one's missing rather than like an intentional thing. If you had 3 models, it'd be like, this is intentional, sort of. You know what I'm saying. And the amount of units that have only 3 models in the unit, it just makes more sense. So who are we going to go with? Let's have a look at the boxing first. So this is nice. I like the sketched artwork. It doesn't look quite in the Games Workshop style, so I'm not sure if Games Workshop artists have done this or whether JoyToy themselves have commissioned someone. It's certainly like that. That's clearly William Dafoe. Like, I don't know if you can see from the angle I'm looking at, but that is 100% William Dafoe. Yeah, Willem Dafoe in a thingy. That looks almost like Bruce Willis. It's not, with a mohawk. There's another Bruce Willis and another Bruce Willis. So we've got 3 Bruce Willises and Willem Dafoe. So that's what I'll remember to name them. So let's just pop these out. Who are we going to go with? Which one's the Sergeant? One of them is the Sergeant, I can't remember which. Let's just pop the first one out and go from there. They're all going to end up on my shelf anyway, so here we are. So Space Marine Ultramarines Intercessor. So okay, I've noticed some very slight differences. There we go, Brother Sergeant Manius. So he's the first guy. I'm just going to get straight through in the unboxing. So they all come nicely packaged in this plastic stuff, and they've all got these cards that I said with the last ones I was going to look at translating, but you try and translate them and it makes little to no sense. So too many of the words are very Games Workshop specific, so when you translate a lot of this, you know, like things like chaos becomes the dark, like chaos gods become dark gods or something. I can't remember what the words are, but yeah. So last one, and then we get to the squeaky plastic bit. So these are all nicely taped on at least, although just realised didn't get a card with that one. Let me just double check the box. Yeah, it's in the box, that's fine. So I did get the card. So there you go, there's Willem Dafoe. So yeah, they all come quite nicely packaged in these boxes. So at least when they're transporting, there's very minimal movement, no scratching. So we'll do a breakdown of what you get. Let's have a look. So loadout wise, they all look pretty much identical. So the sergeant comes with the additional chainsword. They've all got an additional 4 hands. They've all got the bolter. They've all got a separate helmet, and obviously the sergeants come in red, which is really, really nice. And then they've also got a bolt rifle and a backpack. So loadout wise, they are all on the surface identical, but on some of the actual mouldings of the models, for example, this guy has a knife on his belt. He's got something different on his belt, I can't see it because of the light reflection. Then a relic and nothing, so that's going to be our blue shirt guy. Right, so let's pop this guy out. Thankfully this is not taped, and again, sorry about the noise, it's just nasty. So here we go. So what I noticed was, I say different, is if we compare it to the old one, it looks like it's a different blue. Like, can you see that on camera? Let's bring them up and put them in focus. They do look ever so slightly different. Like, I'll move them throughout the lighting. That's just a wee bit darker. Even the gold itself is darker than the original one, but it's got a lot more reflection on it, which is nice. So not too much of a fan of the lack of consistency between them, although some of the bits do almost match up. This has got a bit more bronze to it, which is odd. So this is more of a bronze gold, but what I do like, so let's pop that away. I mean, there's an ever so slight colour difference. You can have that sort of difference when you're painting them between batches. But when we look at the model, for example, and compare it to the McFarlane model, oh, I do like that. Sorry, the weapons I've noticed have all got, apart from this one and this one, have all got separate sort of like Aquila and seal markings and scrolls and things like that. So we'll just pop these guys off. The good thing about these is the heads do just pop off. Probably going to be difficult to get into this one. There you go. And then the new one should just pop on. Is a bit of a pain, especially when they're new. I've noticed this more specifically with the hands. It will take a bit more time to do than I've really got in the video, but there we are. Let me just bring him up and close. Some more lighting on him, so right, you're the focal point. Brilliant, there we go, we've got it now. So yeah, so this guy is pretty much the same as this guy, pretty much. We do have some extras. For some reason his campaign shield is on the other side. He's got a rope, but you know, they're both Intercessor, arguably assault sergeants. The paint job's fairly pretty much the same. So looking at these two, what I love about the JoyToy figures is, yes, okay, so it's a little over half the size of the McFarlane figures, but what I really like about it is if you compare this to a model, things like the Aquila actually looks like it looks on the model. Things like the purity seals will look like they look on the model. This is kind of like somebody described what a Space Marine looked like, and then they molded it from that and did their own little artistic licensing, such as, you know, the shape of this thing. Whilst it's cool and kind of looks a bit more like Space Marine artwork, this one looks more true to the original the original figures that we actually know and paint and play with. Weirdly, and I didn't expect this, so the helmet, we've actually got another spare helmet. I thought from the pictures online that this helmet was actually just the one that you clip off, and then you had some way to attach it to his belt. So since he's wearing that, we can pop that off. I wondered if it was magnets or something, but no, it's just another little ball joint, which unfortunately leaves us with a hole there. But if I'm right about this bit, we've got another ball joint. Yep, it's another one. And again, I thought these were magnets or something like that. But these little relics do actually clip into the belt, so if we wanted, we can pop that round the back. Oh no, one of them's larger than the other one, so they're staying on the front. That's a bit weird. Right, so that's the first one. Let's get them all unpackaged. I'm not going to take all the weapons and things out right now, but let's just line the 4 guys up at the very least. So there's one. You can have your chainsword and your head. Right, 2. Again, I'm not worried about the bits for now. 3. And 4. And then with 4 I am gonna, whoa, boing. So with 4 I am gonna build him up completely. So there we go. So a couple of reasons for that, you'll see in a second. So let's leave the hands in, let's leave the head in, and then we'll just get his backpack and his bolt rifle. So based on my experience with the last ones, in fact no, I want a couple of hands out for reasons. Is that looks like it's holding something, so we'll worry about that in a second. Right, so yeah, so this guy again, I don't know if that can pop off. It looks like it can. I'm not sure I want to. Yep, it can. So again, another little ball joint, and you can do that. So you can, if you want to make a set of 5, go and buy 2 boxes of these, do some swapping, changing, change some heads, something like that, and then gift some to your friends. So yeah, aside from the slight colour difference between this and the original, you can see it there, can't you? You can see that this is a lighter blue than that, and the gold is ever so much more a warm gold, whereas this one's more of a bronzy gold. So yeah, they are pretty good. These I don't think come off. Yep, they do. So I can see the ball joint underneath there. So that'll pop off. That'll pop off, which is really cool. It's another little accessory. Does the knife come out? Yes, it does. So things like that are really, really good, and that's what goes into the detail of these models, and it's what I really, really like. Even the face sculpt is pretty decent. I think those teeth could do with a bit of a better paint job. Let me see, can I get you in focus? Come on, there you are. So the teeth have clearly just sort of been overbrushed with skin colour in the background. What's going on? Why are you focusing on them? There we go. So not the greatest, but yeah, you can easily fix that if you want to put some effort into it yourself. So before we build this guy up, I am going to do a quick teardown disassembly for them, because these guys were super easy to take apart. So there we go. Same again, you've got the double-sided ball joint in there. The arm just pops off. There we go, that's popped out. This side, shoulder pad, arm. They can be quite tight. Head, waist, legs, one side. These accessory things all pop out, which is really cool. So if you are painting them, you can get right in there. Oop, I popped the leg out the wrong way. That's interesting. The last one didn't do it like this, but I will sort that in a second. So this should pop off, he says. There we go, and then that pops out or goes up through the top. It's because I've pulled the legs off and down, not out. So let me pop that back on there, and then if I go outwards, nope. Right, there only gets to so much on this video before I go, I'm just wasting your time. But you can pop those out. I hope you can see inside there. You can just pop those off those ball joints, and then this whole piece comes out separately. But the joint round there is a bit weaker on this one than it was on the previous one, so they're coming off first. So just a little bit more force and play, and you'll get those off. But all in all, the parts do come out. The only bits I've not tried to pop off, or this has just fallen off on its own, is things like this, where it's clearly been glued on and not in the best way, but that should just slide on and off that joint there once you've dislodged the glue. So you've got like a little sort of T-joint, and then it just fits in there. And then again, I think even the feet will also come off their ball joints as well. So what I did when I painted mine is I just used these bits, probably best to tape them up, but I used those bits to grab onto and then just spray painted that whole thing. So yeah, so that's pretty much its parts. Again, you can break that down more. Obviously you can break the leg down a bit more if you want to, because that's a pivot point as well. But yeah, there's the model. That's how he comes apart. Right, let's quickly put him back together. There's that knee going flying again. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. And unfortunately, I have had a few bits like this across some of the models. So on the last series, it was either the Intercessors or Infiltrators. I had models which had things like shoulder pads. Once you took them off, you just couldn't get them back on and stay on right. So just be a bit careful on doing it whilst you're doing it even. Right, so I say it just pops off. There is some force, few apples of force required to get it on, but in the most part it does just click apart and click together. It looks like they've actually lubricated this as well, which is a nice little quality of life improvement. Just help the joints rotate. Hello. Again, it can just be a little bit tricky to get some of these things in, but it's relatively easy. It's honestly easier to build some of these things sometimes than it is to build many Games Workshop miniatures. Have I put those arms on backwards? I have, haven't I? Blooming heck. Here we go. Pop off, and on. So I can't imagine young children can do this. Well, saying that, I'm not exactly the strongest man in the world, so maybe I'm a good example of you know, the strength of a 7-year-old. But yeah, so young kids might have a bit of trouble doing it, but otherwise you'll be fine. So we'll pop that in there. What you don't have this time is like the holstered gun, the holstered bolt pistols or anything like that. Now have I? Oh my! Look at what I've done. I can't believe, yeah, of course it was. I wasn't paying attention, I was too busy talking to you. So we'll try this again, one last time, but at least we are testing how much you can pull these apart and put them back together, and it seems quite a lot. And then the other challenge I had with the last models, which I imagine has carried over to this one, because I've seen a few people generally complain about it in the JoyToy range. I'm saying complain, it's like, you know, it's a feature of the product rather than an actual complaint. It's just a natural result of how they are made, is the hands. So you get these hands, and the ones that go on from the factory have already been softened a bit around the wrist, so you can just pop them off. Though this does feel a lot softer and thinner than the previous hands. So this one, for example, it's not bending. Here though, really soft. So if I look at that extra hand that I had, yeah, this is definitely the other one because it's squidgier. It looks like they have addressed this problem, because it's a, yeah, brilliant, it's a softer material, so that actually squidges on a lot easier than the previous ones did, which is great to see that already between that being released and those being released, they've taken the feedback on board and solved one of the biggest complaints, which is absolutely spot on. So we'll quickly line these guys up and have a look at them. Oh, and the other thing to be conscious of, sorry, on the last one, once I put the backpack on, pulling the backpack off actually ruined one of the pins. So let's just try that here then. So that already seemed a lot softer. Again, the material feels, for some reason, either this or this feels a lot softer, or they've given a bit more clearance, but that, yeah, that goes on and comes off. It was very tight on the previous one. In fact, I think this might be an example. Yeah, struggling. You can literally hear it crack. In fact, I've pulled the backpack apart in trying to do that, so that's not great. So I'm not going to continue trying to do that. So that's a bit of a pain. So again, once again, they've addressed that part of the quality issue as well, which is really, really great. It does mean it comes off not too easily, but yeah. And then posing wise, these are really, really great. Like articulation, you know, obviously you've got twists in the leg. You've got that on a ball joint. You've got the knee plate, which is like, so you've got 3 parts on the knee plate. You've got the top pivot, the bottom pivot. It's not just one pivot, and then the knee guard there can sort of like, you can move that up and down depending on how you're doing it, and it masks a little bit of the fact that it's a toy. And then the arms, I've always found the arms a bit weird because they're on a double ball joint, so you do kind of find they come out from the armor a little bit, because these shoulder pads are on that double ball joint. They sometimes stick out like that, which looks really, really weird. So you can just pop them back into place and then shove them up higher on the shoulders. So there we go. So let's have a look at these guys. So we've got our Sergeant, Bruce Willis. Sorry, that's Willem Dafoe in it, and Bruce Willis. So again, that's another example of how the shoulder pads can look sometimes because of the double ball joint. But if you just push that in, oh, he's saying that. Found a bit of a problem with this one. What's going on? Oh, there you go. Oh, it's the actual arm joint itself wasn't in on that one. So let me push that into place. There we go. So, and that sorted it. It just needed a bit of a shove in, and then probably the same on this side as well. We'll do that, but everything's a bit tight out of the box. But otherwise, I mean, you've seen online the pictures how you can pose these guys, and they are absolutely brilliant. I am totally in awe of this entire range. I'm annoyed of, you know, we've seen what's coming. Check out fohammer.com for an idea of what's coming, but these are absolutely fantastic models. The range is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's all Ultramarines. Every single model that seems to be coming out is mostly Ultramarines. We've got a few Space Wolves. Looks like we've got some Black Templars and Imperial Fists in the future. I'm going to unbox the not Death Guard, the Death Company shortly, but here we go, some more Ultramarines. And as for Intercessors, these are by far the best looking. Compared to the tabletop models, these are the best looking action figures that we've had for Warhammer by a clear mile, clear mile. And even let me see if I can bring that in, like even there on the purity seal, not only have you got the writing, but it's actually carved in, so that's just a recessed shade over the actual purity seal itself. So, and it's nice and flexible as well, which is really, really cool. So sorry, whilst I've always loved the McFarlane figures in general, their entire range, I've collected a lot of them since sort of early 2000s when they did the Metal Gear Solid figures. That was my introduction to McFarlane, but I'm sorry, despite the fact that these are smaller, the quality just, it's unrivaled, absolutely unrivaled, and the attention to detail, the accuracy is perfect. It's spot on. It's exactly what I want from some action figures. So these are going to look absolutely awesome on my shelf. Really, really impressed yet again, and they've made improvements. So okay, I'm going to put these away and get on to some Death Company. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I haven't asked a question of the week this week because I couldn't think of one, but yeah, Fohammer out.